There are over 150 paths to service. Which path will you take?
And good morning here as we are joined for breakfast at Yummy's Bistro on the island a couple of days after a signing, Mr. Cole Pinkerton. And Cole, first of all, talk to me about just the signing day and the excitement about finally making the decision, knowing you're going on to play.
I mean, it was a really big decision. I mean, it was awesome. I was glad that Coach BJ invited me out to go play for him. It was a huge honor, and I mean, just excitement to go on and play at the next level. It's something that I've been dreaming about since a little kid, so it's really nice to actually have that become a reality and given the opportunity to go play.
Kind of an informal setting because we're also joined with Cole with his head basketball coach throughout the varsity years at the high school level, Coach Hazelton, and also with Coach Alzaid, who is the recruiting coordinator of Our Lady of the Lake. And first of all, let's talk with you, Coach Hazelton. Talk about this young man and his journey from the beginning days to now moving on to college.
Well, I was fortunate to have Cole play for me for 4 years. He came up as a freshman, 14 years old, and you can see that he had the skill level, but when you bring in a freshman, you gotta be very careful, but you could tell right away he also had the maturity level, and that was key to it. He played early his freshman season, and then we made an agreement. He moved down, played JV a little bit, and then he came back up towards the end of the season, got in the playoffs. We had a nice little season, went 3 rounds, and then his sophomore year, I talked about this before, we don't always play the same style every year. We kind of go by what we have to work with, and we had a smaller team, so in sophomore year, Cole he actually had to play down in the post. He did a good job with that. I think he won 26 games, school record, and he was a big part of that. And then the next year, his junior year, we had a larger team physically. And so Cole got the opportunity to move out and play in the wing and play out on the perimeter. Really nice year again. Won 28 games, went 3 rounds, and looking forward to his senior year, although we have a lot of guys asleep. So then we get to his senior year, and we decided he was going to play a little bit more point guard or handle the ball a lot more and be the field general out there. And again, he adjusted and adapted, did a great job with that. Very unselfish kid, an unselfish player, and he thinks team first. Won the district title with me this past season and won 4 rounds. Every goal he set, he pretty much hit. Number 3 in his class, academically. He should have a successful future, and wish him well at OLU.
Adaptability, Coach, talk about from the early days, how important it was that you had a player like this that could say, I need you to do this today, you're going to do this tomorrow. We'll talk about how important that is and how rare that is.
It's very rare, and that comes back to his maturity level and how many games he's played in AAU level, the high school level. I think he probably played probably close to 120 games for us in his 4 years. But he makes basketball all the time. He loves basketball. I think he'd be on the court all the time if he possibly could. And it's a rare treat. We're going to miss him.
Talk about the historic run because he's part of history now. This team did some things that none others have, and the bar's been set pretty high to follow his group.
Yes. And he was, of his 4 years, he went third round, and 4th round. Previously to that, I don't think Port Isabel had been past the 1st round. And so it's, I looked at the other day, he got into 11 playoff games, 7 and 4 in playoff games, and against non-valley teams, playing upstate teams. So doing a great job with that level of competition. And his leadership was really a big key to it.
Coach Alzaid, as you take a look at pulling in a player like this, as you hear some of the accolades, as you've recruited this young man, talk about how he fits into your system and what was the impressive things that said, we'd like to get this guy.
Yeah, I think first it was just the history, his background, just to piggyback what Coach was saying, his maturity.
I really liked that. It was very, from the beginning, you could tell it was very mature. When I got to see him play, you could just tell he was very aggressive and very physical, and we like that. Our style of play is very fast. We're going to press the entire time. We want to look to score, and we're looking for somebody to come in and for Cole, I wanted him to be a facilitator, and that's probably being the wing and a point guard, playing both positions. And I think just hearing the stories and doing the interviews, we're going to rely on Cole to be very mature. We're going to ask him a lot as a freshman to be very vocal and to continue to make our program better. We want the winning tradition that he has done over here to continue at Orlando Lake University.
Talk about when you hear things like number 3 in your class. Talk about the importance and what that is now done as far as when you're looking as a recruiter, because more and more people are playing basketball. So how important is that when you start hearing number 3 in your class?
Yeah, number 3 in the class is a huge accomplishment. I mean, it's outstanding. And our institution, we want to have more student athletes with that pedigree. It's awesome, So to grab somebody in the top 3, it's a huge accomplishment, and we don't get to do that very often. So that was a huge plus for us, and I think our whole administration was excited because we're going to lean on Cole to set the example academically as well.
Also, from a recruiting perspective, when you hear things like adaptability, he played inside, he played outside, he went wherever I wanted to go. Talk about how that fits into a program when, as a college recruiter, you're saying, it's not just a specialist I'm getting this time, I'm getting someone that can adapt.
Yeah, I mean, again, when I saw him play, especially in the summer, he was just so physical and so aggressive on defense, and he would sacrifice his body for a charge, and he just caught my attention right then and there. And again, we're going to ask him to play multiple positions. We're going to have him play the point, have him play the shooting guard. I think we're going to continue to work on his game, especially shooting off the dribble, more accuracy. But I think he has all the tools, and this is what we're excited about. So I think it's going to be very, very fun to see him accept that challenge and play multiple positions.
Sounds good. Cole, as you talk about moving on, I know it was a process for you to select this school. You had some options out there, and you also wanted to look academically and continue to play basketball. How did you end up with the final decision to come this? What swung you this way?
I mean, just from talking with Coach BJ, what the season was going to be like, I was really looking forward to it. I honestly, like he said, he saw me in the summer, so it wasn't an early on decision. He came to me, not too long ago, really. It's been about 2 months, honestly, and I'm really glad that he did, because I took a look at the program, I took a tour of the school. Everything was really nice. It looked great. Everything sounded like it was a strong, organized facility, organization. The school itself, I've heard very good things. My mom got her bachelor's from there. I mean, it's really nice. It's a sister school. It's a Catholic school. Just everything that I've heard about it is great news.
Let's talk about going back over the years. Coach talks about seeing you as a freshman coming in. Talk about those early days. When did you set your goal saying athletics is going to help me get to college? Was it that early?
Yeah, it comes in. I think it came in before freshman year in high school with my dad and everyone else who's helped coach me. AAU, definitely. AAU gives you a lot of exposure that you're not used to, especially here in the Valley when you get to go up and play against those kids who aren't from the Valley, a lot bigger. And so it's been since before high school, but I think Hazelton really helped me out. Coming in my freshman year was his first year in high school, first year coaching us. And he's been a great coach since then. And even now, the track record kind of shows how good of a coach and what he did for us. 3 rounds, we made history almost every year. And so, to end off especially on the note that we did, Sweet 16 district champ for the first time in 32 years. It shows what kind of impact he had and what impact athletics had.
Was there any one particular game that you could look back on over the sophomore, junior year where you started to get the feeling that, okay, I know what I need to do and I'm getting there?
One game, I'm not too sure. One game that I really remember would be last year. Last year in the second round of the playoffs, we played, what was their name? Who? No, last year. Last year in the playoffs. Allen. Last year in the playoffs, our second round. Last year, not this year.
Oh, the year before?
Yes.
Oh my gosh. Move that camera. Go back.
Divine. We played Divine High School. And I remember that game a lot because it was back and forth. We started out hot, they came back, and it was a game that wasn't decided from the beginning. It was fought all the way through. I mean, every player stepped up when they needed to. And I remember we got down a lot of our. We ended up going into overtime, and we ended up fighting amongst ourselves. And I remember it because we ended up pulling through together. We played as one, and we fought it out. And then, I mean, the celebration and the joy afterwards was insane. Just to show, that game kind of showed what could happen when you self-destruct and what happens whenever you play together as a team. And I think that was the game that I remember the most.
Talk about the historic run and being a part of all those winning teams and setting the bar extremely high from here on. More importantly, talk about how you pulled it together in COVID when we weren't even sure you would have a season. Then we weren't sure you would have a game. Then you might practice, you might not practice. Talk about this season in general and just how chaotic it was and then how you guys pulled it together.
So this season, I mean, I've been asking Hazelton since the ending of last year, before we lost in the playoffs, is when is he going to get the schedule? When is he going to get it? You know, just so that we can start preparing for it, knowing for it. And he got it for us, and then COVID and everything. And it really set us back because we were going to play a lot bigger schools in our preseason. And then for them, I think they took off 15 games, which was a disappointment. And I saw all these other schools in practice, and we were about a month behind from a lot of other schools because we just weren't allowed to practice, and it was really hard. But the one thing that was nice is that the group that we played with together this year, we had all played together before in the summer or whenever we could, and the group that we had this year was really hard working and determined to make it work because we knew the difficulties that we had. And so for us to be able to win almost every game that we played this season, and for us to get district champs, which hasn't been done in 32 years, that first of all is a goal that I really wanted to accomplish because I come in second place since freshman year to Hidalgo, and to finally top them and beat them, I mean, my senior year, I mean, there's not a greater feeling than that. And then to top it off, getting past the third round, which has never been done before in history for our school, is amazing. So to get to the fourth round, to show that through all the difficulties and everything that we had, it was really one of our best years that we've ever had.
Team accomplishments all the way across the board. Now let's drill it down when you can. When it's in the postseason, after it's all said and done, the season's over, you can talk about individual accolades. Talk about your season and what you thought about and your satisfied parts and just the goals you achieved this year.
This year, I mean, I was really blessed to get awarded the co-MVP of the district. I mean, that's an amazing award. I'm honored to receive it from the district. I also got first team all district, which is also really blessed to receive that. I believe I got first team all area and first team all region. And to get the first team all region, I mean, that to me, when I saw my name on that list, it was a great surprise to see all those other bigger schools that were listed next to me. And I mean, that was really cool to see. And I got selected in 3 All-Star games, which was awesome to play in each one of them. And then just to make those extra memories, and I mean, all the awards, I couldn't do it without my coach and the teammates. Obviously, without them, I mean, it's a team game. You need everyone else. So, I mean, I'm really grateful for all my awards, but I couldn't do it without all of them.
There aren't many players who can look over at a coach and look back and say, thank you for putting me in this position and then letting me play here and then letting me play here. But now that you have that in your back pocket, how are you going to use that to benefit and maybe get a step ahead when you hit the Florida college level? So,
I mean, like you said, like with the coaches, I mean, I'll do what is asked of me. I'll do it to the best of my capability. I mean, I can't make any promises, but all I can say is that I'll give you everything that I can give you. And I mean, that's one thing that I've had since I was a little kid. Whenever I set my mind to something, I'm going to go do it with everything that I got. And I mean, that's what I'm going to give you each time. And I mean, one thing that Walt Hazelton said, that I was a very flexible player, he was a very flexible coach, and he wasn't someone who was just very narrow-minded. He was open to suggestions, and I really appreciate that because he would listen to the input that I'd give him. And I mean, I'd see some things that he wouldn't see, and he'd see things that I wouldn't see. And I mean, it was really good because I think that allowed us to succeed and do extraordinary things because, I mean, it wasn't just a one-person thing. I mean, he got multiple input, and he was able to put it all together when it needed to be.
Talk about academics. A couple more questions here. Academics, and how important was that to you on the list of this is what I want to accomplish?
So academically, I mean, academics was always pushed before athletics. No matter what, if I got in trouble or anything, it's always academics first. And that was pushed a lot by my mom, and I'm really grateful that she did because, I mean, I'm here where I am at the number 3 spot. So I'm really grateful for all of that. I mean, I'd always be asking her, why are you putting me in this class? All my friends are in these other classes, you know. Why do I have to take the really hard classes, stress myself out? But in the long run, I mean, it really benefited me. I've already taken multiple college classes to get ahead, as you said, and for the college course of my life. So, I mean, academics was a huge part, probably the biggest part, honestly, in my high school.
Second to the last question here. Now that you've signed your name, what do you do from now till the day you finally show up at college? What's the work schedule like for you? It's not let up, is it?
No, not at all. I mean, right now, my dad and I have agreed that the college level and high school level is 2 completely different things that I've heard and that I know. I mean, it's like you're jumping 10 steps up instead of just 1 step. I mean, it's a huge step that you need to take. And right now, I'm trying to work out 5 days a week, twice a week. 5 days a week, twice a day. I'm trying to, I mean, playing as much as I can. I'm still doing AAU to get to travel, exposure, everything that I can. So right now, like you said, it doesn't let up. I mean, I'm trying to just get ready for the upcoming season.
Final question, I ask this of everyone I interview. If a 7th or 8th grader came up to you today and said, I'd like to play college basketball, what would you tell them to start with and to finish with to get from point A to point B?
Just, you gotta want it, really. I mean, everyone can say that they want it, but not everyone shows that they want it. You gotta show it. I mean, you gotta have the passion for it. The passion for it. If you don't have the passion for it, I mean, why do it? And I mean, I think that's one of the biggest things is that you can't force it. I mean, if it's meant to be, it's meant to be. As long as you have a great work ethic and you're determined, I think you can do anything you set your mind to.
Cole Pinkerton.